What's up, guys? It's the Podcast Boys back with episode 156. We're joined in the studio today with Cheyenne. Colin's taking a little break, and we're going to give you some good content. Today, we're going to talk about dopamine detox. Should you do it? And our personal experience with it. So let's get right into it. I guess Cheyenne will start us off.
Sure. So basically, me, Justin, and a couple of our friends, we started this thing to go for 3 weeks on a social media dopamine detox, which is a bit different, and then planned on doing 1 week of full-on no dopamine, like full-on detox in every aspect of your life. And it was hard anything. It wasn't just social media for the 3 weeks. It was basically uh, any just like no Snapchat, like no Instagram scrolling in any way, uh, and then no like terrible fast food. Like you could have pizza like once in a while. No TV shows, which sucked personally, and you could have watched a movie like once a week, which was fine because like some family time. Usually people go and watch a movie with their family, and then uh, what else was it?
Let's put the rules. Let me just.
Yeah, we had it all written down, and then for the 1 week it was crazy. So basically, scientifically, you get dopamine from many different activities. Basically, a happy hormone is actually what the nickname of it is, and we decided that like we put a circle around two activities that we were like they give you dopamine, but they're healthy, and we should do it because we don't want to be bored out of our minds. Um, we said reading is okay and working out. Reading and working out both are a great dopamine source, and I did a lot of both because I was going crazy. Like, funny enough, dopamine detox, like any other type of detox, any other sort of quitting something that your body produces on the daily. It's like quitting drugs, alcohol, all of that. It has the same side effects. All of them have the same like anxiety, depression. And I wasn't depressed, but I did go crazy for the first week. Like my mom was like, since you started this shit, you're like walking around just laughing for no reason. And she was right. I just like since I didn't watch anything, I just remembered old jokes. And I like while walking around, like I'm going to the fridge to like grab water. I was like, because I just remembered a joke that was told like last week or something, and it it has some effects, and it was hard. The first week was the hardest. From the second week, you could feel it. It just going into your lifestyle. But at a certain point, it's like you heard someone in school talking about, for example, a video game you liked that you played, or you talk with your friends and you're like, fuck, I want to play that so bad. Third week is hard because not as hard as the first week, but it's hard because you're now seeing the change in your life and you're craving those the old habits. And resisting it is much more easier than the first week, but that's where you can see your life change, and that's where is your like basically the last is like you're hanging from your finger, either going up back to those habits or dropping down to your new lifestyle. And oh my god, that decision, that last fighting with your finger is so hard.
Yeah. I briefly want to talk about sort of my experience with it. So yeah, like Cheyenne said, the format we did was 3 weeks of no social media. That is Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, any other like platforms that we use to like talk and communicate with people, and just like scroll, reels, TikTok, all of that is off limits. And then basically so the last week of the 4 weeks is Hell Week, and basically that week was complete detox. That's all the above stuff: no social media, video games, TV shows, as well as no overly greasy foods, sugary foods. Just basically no external hits of dopamine that are like really affect you. So right now, me and Shine are on week 3, and this is right before the Hell Week. So we have basically done all of the bit with no social media
Yeah.
so far. And for me, it's been pretty tough for sure, especially with group chats and like communicating with people. I think one of the biggest things that was like drawback for me from actually doing the challenge and going forward with it was how was I going to talk to friends and communicate with people. And since I'm doing it with other friends, we're kind of in it together, right? And we're in the same friend group. So what we did is basically I don't have Snapchat, I don't have Instagram, and so I can't look at these group chats. But basically what would happen is if I ever needed anything, I'd call one of my friends in the chat and would say, hey, like, can you send me the notes for math, or can you send me the physics thing, or like what's the plan this day and this day. And although it is hard, I think it sometimes is like necessary just for your mental health too, because you can really just sit and focus without being distracted all the time. I noticed like when I did homework, I'm so much more focused into the work I'm doing, and I'm not distracted like looking at my phone, checking my notifications. And obviously you do have that, you get like emails, whatever, but you don't have that same like disconnect from your work, and you can really just lock in on like whatever you're doing. For me, I know you said you picked up reading a lot. The one thing that I really picked up more is just like listening to music. So
True.
I listen to music a lot throughout the day. Probably always have my AirPods on me in my pocket, and I usually have them in for a good amount of time. But I think during the dopamine detox, it was like that is increased a lot because I don't have anything else to reach for. If I do go on my phone, the one thing I'm checking is Spotify and like scrolling through my music or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's, I think,
Yeah.
one of the main things
Funny
that I
enough,
implemented.
though, funny enough, in the Hell Week, not even music is allowed, and uh, another part was video games. I don't think we mentioned. Did we mention video
Yeah,
games?
no
Oh
video games
yeah,
too.
no video games
Mhm.
for a month.
Yeah.
And crazy enough, I don't know like if any of our viewers play FIFA Ultimate Team, but it was Team of the Season month. EA is handing out free like OP ass cards, and it was so difficult for him to just sit around and just like don't do anything about it. And oh my god, the good part is I couldn't check like media to like see what they're doing exactly. I just heard from some friends.
Mhm.
So like I'm not sure what I'm exactly like missing out on,
Yeah.
but it's just that fire in me, like holy fuck. And same goes with a lot of video games, like people who like grinded on that shit, like they know it's like sometimes with DLCs and shit, you miss it, like it might be a skill changer or whatever, but it was the hardest. Like video games, I don't play video games often, especially this year. I like put it aside, like play it on the weekends or like when I'm sure I have like nothing to do homework wise or studying wise. Even then, I did not. I still didn't know how much of an impact it had, like how much of a difference it would have made without video games. Generally, dopamine, um, in our generation, I believe, we have a terrible dopamine balance. We like everything we do is just surrounded by dopamine, and dopamine isn't bad. It's just makes you lazy. And so many people know, so many like TED Talks I've heard, so many YouTubes I watch from different millionaires and successful figures that um, focus is important, and every one of them, every single one without a miss, all of them said something like dopamine detox will be so helpful for this generation, considering the unbalanced dopamine levels, and you have to level that shit to gain more focus, because focus is what is important in your life to finish your task, and finishing your task with the best quality is what makes you successful. And not well of course it depends on what task it is, I can't be doing bullshit and be like, oh shit, why am I not successful? Cheyenne was lying.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sorry, lift your mic. Just put it in your.
Yeah, but it's like it is important. You gotta focus.
Yeah.
And holy shit, my focus has been so high since I started this.
Yeah. So for a lot of people, I know like what I heard, we talk to each other, like call each other, or you text me just like, how's it doing? Day 1, day 2, week 1, right? How's it going? And I noticed from Shine and the other people doing the challenge, I feel like they got a lot more out of it. I feel like for me, one of the main things that benefited me was getting to the task that I kind of have put off for a while. So one thing that I am really bad at is organization. So I really try to help organize myself, organize my space, keep it clean. And I think that really helped. Like I think I have a really good routine in place, but I think now with that organization, it's like coming together even more. So like making my bed every morning and keeping my room like clean, so I can actually sit down and focus. One of the things that I learned at my job, actually, I'm a dishwasher, but one of the things they taught me was like, if you keep your space clean, your mind's clean. Like you can focus better because you have less stuff to worry about, less distractions. And I think that rang true for me, especially just keeping my area clean and like knowing, focusing on my tasks and just doing that. So
If your room is dirty, and you're sticking by that saying that says people whose rooms are dirty are more creative, that is true, but that's just make you lazy. Clean your rooms, people. Clean your room. I hate it when I go to someone's house and their room, like, it's fine. It's just doesn't have to be too bad. But clean it, man. Once a week. All it takes. It takes me 5 minutes to clean my room every 2-3 days. And you walk into my room, you can walk freely you can take clear steps. You don't have to look where you're stepping. I don't have to look for anything ever. That's why I'm always on time for everything. You know?
Yeah.
Holy shit, what is this? Oh, no. But yeah, clean your room, people.
Out of the people that were in it, basically most of them have like not quit the challenge, but like quit or even just like change the rules or just like I don't know, messed up some things.
Yeah.
I think I've had a dip, and I had like a pretty not like I haven't had a serious dip, but I did have one point like turning point that was kind of impactful for me, I guess. So one week, I think it was Sunday, and I had football game after, and basically I was like researching just stuff for the podcast, and I kind of fell into that loop of like research but kind of like entertainment, and so I started looking at like basically these other podcasts and like stuff that I want to implement, and I was even like writing notes on it. Okay, like I want to like take this from this person. I was learning this, and I think that was good, but I was like almost fell down the rabbit hole a little bit, and I just kept watching videos and videos, and then I just took a step back and said, wow, like this isn't educational anymore.
Yeah.
And now it's damaging. But I think the best thing about dopamine detox is that you start to realize that downward spiral, and you can stop yourself and just step back for a moment and go, hey, I'm getting off task. Let me put it away and like refocus.
Because just to let you guys know, we're not doing this for like a prize. There's nothing on the line but the experience and the clear mind and the change in our lives that we know we will get. That's why like everybody, like I know me and Justin, we were like haven't heard from everybody else in the group chat. They never talk, but it's like I was faithful because I knew it was gonna have an impact, not because I was gonna get bragging rights or any rewards. It's just the only thing that kept me on the line when I was like getting off task or like not being focused. I was like do this for yourself. Like, you know, I was like, sometimes I was like, what the fuck is the point of this? Like, at home alone, especially on the weekends. Holy fuck, you have no idea how hard the weekends are. It's like you're like chilling at like 12 a.m. on a Saturday night. Well, some people go party and drink alcohol. Oh, speaking of, no alcohol and like drugs. Obviously, we're clean people. We didn't even have to mention that because we just don't do it. But like people do that, and that's fun, I guess. But if you don't have a plan and you're just sitting at home on a Saturday night, you don't believe it's like everything. Like my Xbox was like dead ass. I was hallucinating, but I was having an argument with my Xbox. Like, no, I'm not fucking playing you tonight. Like that ass. It's so hard. It's like staring you. You know, it's like you're sitting on your desk, TV staring right at you, Xbox staring right at you, your phone is staring right at you. You're like, bro. I was like, fuck it, but I'm just gonna go for a walk. That ass. Like 12 a.m. on a Saturday night. Well, Sunday morning, kinda. But I went for a walk, bro. Went for like a 15-minute walk. Got scared in the jungle. Was like, fuck it, bro. I mean, safe place, but you know, you never know. Walked back home and just tried to sleep. You know, stared at the moon for like a good half an hour because I couldn't sleep that early on a weekend. But it's hard. But you're doing this for you, and try it.
I think you have to know like what you want getting out of it. So like main things that I prioritized when I was doing it was like organization, sleep schedule, and just general focus.
Mm-hmm.
And so going into it with those things in mind, I think that sort of helped steer me like the direction of like how I wanted to like approach the challenge. Because I had some friends and I wanted to do it with a bunch of other people, but the thing is, a lot of them didn't want to do it because I guess they just didn't see the benefit in doing it.
Yeah.
And like I have friends that have like pretty good schedules and like they're pretty on top of it. I mean, one of my friends has like the time limit thing on his phone, and he's been doing that, and he has like a very good balance. But I think for me, especially, I had a pretty bad balance with like work life balance, you know, and just like being able to enjoy myself while also being able to get my work done. The thing is, the one thing that I like want to preface is like, if you're a procrastinator going into it, you're still gonna be a procrastinator like when you're in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like am a very bad procrastinator. I always just push my stuff to the last minute, or I
Same.
do start on it, but I just don't get much work done. Um, and that's still the same thing even when you're in the challenge, except you're not filling it up with your phone. So I guess it could be seen as more like useful. But like instead of going and doing my homework, I'd go spend time with my family. Me and my sister would go like get coffee or whatever in the morning, and then I'd come home. I'd start playing piano instead, and then I'm on Spotify finding some new music,
Yeah.
you know, and then maybe I clean my room, but then I'm like just at home, like with my dog or something, you know, like
Yeah.
there's just you find other ways to fill your time. So
Instead of doing the work.
yeah,
And that's true. And that was a point I was actually gonna touch on, because I was gonna say that if I was gonna, well, I'm implying it like slowly. This is what I'm gonna say, but like in right now, currently in the challenge. But if I was gonna do this challenge again, which I will, honestly, like it's a good time, like especially like in quizzes, like end of the semesters where like you gotta like get so much work done for your tests and exams. I you the focus you're trying to get from this dopamine detox, you have to like you gotta switch it to doing work. It's not just about like not getting dopamine. It's also more about getting your work done. It's about s- destroying your bad habits and getting good ones and doing what you're supposed to. And
mm-hmm.
I done that out like the first week. All I did was I still didn't hand my shit in on time. I barely done any work. It's just I filled my time with doing literally jack shit.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it was. I was feeling bad. I was like, what the fuck is the point of this? Why am I doing this if I'm still not getting work done? So I was like, fuck it. Let's just like the focus I'm getting. Let's focus on like putting the effort in doing the work.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if you're gonna do that, put that focus there. Don't put the focus on not doing the challenge. Like doing the challenge. Like it needs focus. You gotta like know what you're doing that is like against the rules. But the moment you're like, fuck, I'm doing something wrong, or every time you remember the challenge, be like, yeah, I also gotta do work.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just like, oh shit, I want to go on my phone, but I can't. Don't be like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna go like talk with my mom, talk with my sibling, call my friend, or like go look at the bird outside. Be like, no, I'm on this challenge. I shouldn't be on my phone. I gotta do work.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the relation I started doing like in the middle of the second week,
Mm-hmm.
and I I gotta say I got more work done than my entire second semester. My second semester was dog shit. Like it's that's the part where it's the most important, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
because as students we're doing this to do more work. And honestly, like even if you're an adult watching this that you don't have school, you're like on your gap year or even summer, um, if you trying to start a side hustle, you're trying to do more research on a topic that you've been wanting to learn, like on a stock market or whatever. You're trying to start a business. You want to be on that grind. Don't just say, yeah, I want to be on that grind. I'm gonna start a dopamine challenge. You gotta start the dopamine challenge and be on the grind at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That is a terrible way of explaining it, but it just makes sense to me somehow.
Yeah.
Um, do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything to be added on with that experience?
Yeah, I think so it is very hard, but I think you just gotta keep pushing through it. Like I had times where I was so bored and I had like nothing to do and I was tired and my muscles were sore and I didn't want to go to the gym, but I'm like, shit, what else am I gonna do? You know,
Yeah.
I've done everything. Like, you reach a point where you've done all the tiny little tasks and you have nothing else to do. Like, I would get joy out of just walking to the bank, depositing my money, and walking home. Like, I would do stuff like that. Or like, one thing that one like small thing that I did that was like big for me was like figuring out my bank account and like my statements and stuff. So like, I opened my savings account and then I moved all my checkings into my savings. So that money sits there now. And then now I've like started like budgeting my money up. So whenever I get a paycheck, 85 goes to the savings and 15 is like all the money I have to play around with, like 15%. And then on top of that, the tip money that I get each week, which could be like 20 to like $15 depending on how busy the restaurant is, that will go into the checkings, and that's the money I have to play with. If I go over, that's all the money I have. Like, I can't spend money after that. So that's one like small thing that I think was very like beneficial for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of people, you start to learn like little things about yourself, or even just like pick up new hobbies. Like, started playing piano a lot, and just keeping my room clean, I think, was one of the main things. Talking to friends, like playing football. Like, you do find time, like you find stuff to fill your time with. Like, it doesn't get super.
You start to like focus again. Focus is so much embedded into this whole concept. You start to focus on building and learning the habits that you need to like be a grown up, to like rely on yourself. Like you said, like manage my bank account. Oddly enough, I try to do that, but my bank like doesn't let me have a savings account for some reason because I'm under 18. But there's like, you start to like get the little habits of like that you don't see that are important. You're like, yeah, I'll do it later. I can do it anytime. It's just, but sometimes you just don't do it because you would rather go get your dopamine rather than doing the actual work that you're supposed to. And it's just the little habits that make that pyramid of you being that complete person that you're gonna be when you grow up.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is another important aspect that is in this challenge that will help you grow as a person, because you start to build these little habits. You start to notice it, and then since you have so much extra focus, you start to focus on those. You start to learn something that you shouldn't. I was gonna ask you this. So what did you do in this 3 weeks because of the dopamine challenge that you knew that in that moment, if you weren't in the challenge, you wouldn't have done it?
Oh yeah, I think the main things were playing piano. I think that was like one of the main things. Like, I sort of stopped playing for a bit, just because of school and sports, and I just couldn't really find time. And then when I had time, I just want to like sit on my phone, be lazy, and like just, I don't know, not have to think. Yeah. But I think one of the things that I did, I started playing the piano. Like, I really enjoy it. It's just kind of like nice for myself. I can just go sit down and like playing. Like, I can just like lose track of time. Like, I could sit there and just like mess around and just play for hours, just like for fun, like learning songs, whatever. But I think that was probably one of the main things that I did that I probably wouldn't have, especially just because like I feel like everyone gets so like, you just get caught in the motions, right? You just keep going day in, day out. But like doing that, I feel was like so out of my path and something that I like wouldn't reach back towards. But because I had so much extra time, that's something that I ended up doing.
True. Same for me would be, mine wasn't a thing I kept doing. I just did the first week. The second week, I didn't do it because the second week was like cold as hell, kinda. I started paddleboarding. So I come on a Thursday of the first week. It was a day where we got off at like 12 for our school for this grad event. And my mom was like, yo, like your uncle is like, and like my grandparents like went to this lake, and like you want to go there, like chill there, maybe like go for a swim or whatever. And it was my choice. Like, that was the first choice I made because I knew if I had a day off like that from school, I would have like, nah, mom, you go. I'm going to sit down, watch a movie, play video games. That was the first choice. I was like, yo, if I wasn't in this challenge, I would have said no. So I was like, yeah, let's go. And then the second one was like, I went there and I saw my uncle that brought his paddleboard. And he was like, yo, you want to like go for it? Like, you want to go for a ride or whatever? And that was the second part where I was like, I said yes because I was like, what am I going to sit here? Like, play volleyball with my grandpa? He's like 70. So I was like, sure, I'll go. I was like, that was the second part because I knew if I could go on my phone, I would just sit there like watch TikToks or do nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, let's go, and I had so much fun. I
Mhm.
was in the water for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
I went to an island, like I went there, took a walk there for like 15 minutes, came back. It was a fun experience. It was something that I did again in that weekend, and something that I will do this summer often and generally in my life that I probably, because I didn't like paddleboarding. If I'm being honest, I've tried it like even before that experience. I was like, man, I just keep falling. It's like there's no point. Because I don't like swimming in like ocean or like salty water. It's just
Yeah.
not pleasant to me. And I was like, man, I gotta get wet and shit. I'm like, fuck this. Like I wouldn't have done it if
Yeah.
I had other things to do, even like going on my phone. But now like I tried it again and I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it. It
Exactly.
was it was so peaceful
Mhm.
in that place. Um the sea, I'm not that spiritual. Like, oh yeah, I love the sea. It's like speaks to me. No, it was just calming, It
Yeah,
was just
exactly.
very calming. So I was like, fuck yeah, I like this now.
Yeah, it's
It's
cool.
like, and another habit I picked up that is like an actual habit and just not a new thing
Yeah.
was reading. Reading, I started to I wanted to start reading since like 4 or 5 months ago. I actually started reading normally, like without the challenge, like last month. Finished my first like proper book in this challenge in the first week. I read 4 chapters that were like 200 pages in the first day. That's how bored I was. And it's just you start to pick up these little habits that will so be the foundation of your life and your success that you would not believe. Now, it's not like I've been successful telling you this, okay? But I can see it's like this vision that you see from your future because of these little habits, and you see other people that have done the same thing, and you see their life that what they are now. You're like, fuck yeah! It makes you feel comfort in who you are, that you know that this path you're taking will get you somewhere at least
Mhm. And
close to the finish line.
exactly, and you're just setting up like you're setting up these little routines, like Sharon said, just like building blocks, right? Like you start with going to the gym, right, and then you get to start reading, and then you start trying to like focus better, and you keep your room clean, and then this, and like you can only keep getting better with these habits, right? Like just like these like I guess just like not instant gratification, like going to the gym, right? You go to the gym, whatever, you get a lift in, and then that's pretty much it, right? Like you maybe
Yeah.
get a pump, but like it's not like instantly gratifying. Like I feel like replacing these like instant gratification like tasks with like just long term like gratification, like
Yeah.
that's when you're in the challenge. And I think if you want to get the most out of this challenge, the one thing that you have to do is take risks. Like Sharon said, you have to go try something new, and you have to go out of your comfort zone if you really want to have the benefits of it. Because I know a lot of people that would just do the challenge and they didn't really do anything, and that's why a lot of my friends quit because they weren't pushing themselves to like try something new or to go do that new experience, right?
They weren't refocus. They weren't relocating that focus on something that would ultimately give you a percentage of dopamine, but the ratio of just raw dopamine to actual usefulness of that task was like not good enough. Like I said, like like working out is also a source of dopamine, but the ratio of it, you get so much more benefit other than just dopamine from working out rather than you would on your phone. You would you still get dopamine on your phone, but the fuck are you accomplishing? But when you work out, you're still getting dopamine and you're being a healthy person. That's the difference, and that goes with so many things. It's like you gotta find a source of dopamine that has a good ratio of being useful. So like a good habit, something that you see that you will keep doing, something that makes you feel fulfilled even after you're done with that dopamine rush in you.
Okay,
All
so
right.
now we're gonna talk about just some of the downsides or like the risks, I guess, of doing the dopamine detox. So, one of the main things, and a big drawback for people that want to do the challenge is communication. So obviously, not having Snapchat, not having Instagram, and not being able to like talk with your friends all online
Yeah.
is pretty hard, especially when your whole friend group's doing it, right? I know for our group we have like a Snapchat chat, and then like that's where everyone goes, right? Like everything's in there, from like the homework, like, oh, can you send me the homework, or the
Yeah.
physics lab, or to like, yo, what are you guys doing this weekend? Like, is anyone free? Like,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you kind of miss out on that, which is tough. But the way that I saw it was that if they really want me there or they want to hang out with me, they'll call me or they'll text me.
Yeah.
And like I told them before, hey guys, I'm doing this challenge thing. If you need me, like call me, text me. So they knew going into it that I was not going to be online. And so I had people like reach out to me, call me, text
Yeah.
me. And like there's just ways to get around it. Like it's not the be all end all of,
Yeah.
you know, you have to check the chat like once a day to just get caught up or whatever. I personally didn't do that, but yeah, like there's ways to go about it.
Yeah. What else was, except communication, what was the other downsides?
So one of the main drawbacks that I felt, I was honestly like a little bit of just not like depression, but just like I felt really burnt out around the second week. And I think that was probably from school, but I just was like had like a pretty shitty week. Like I was just going through it, kind of just going through the motions, feeling super burnt out and like sad, and I had like nothing to do. Like I just felt so like lost for like a week. And it was pretty shitty. Like I'd just go to the gym, I'd come home, whatever, I'd like make my bed, and then I'd just like sit there. I'd like lie there for like 10 minutes just like staring at the ceiling. Like the one thing you'll realize if you do the dopamine detox is that you'll get bored. Like boredom's a natural thing. Like it's actually funny because like as a kid you're bored all the time. Like you're bored, okay, let's go play tag. You're bored, let's go play a board game. Let's do something. Let's play cards. You don't like have that feeling anymore as a teenager, as an adult. You're never bored. You're constantly doing something. So being able to just sit there and be bored and like
sometimes it's
experience
enjoyable.
it's nice. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to be bored. Like, dude, I was been like in class, like, dude, talking to my mom, like shuffling for like 30 minutes. Like I shuffled like a deck of cards for like an hour, half an hour, just talking to my sister, like, cause I was so bored. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just find like things to do. So, but yeah, one of the drawback is just like the communication and just like honestly a sense of like depression and feeling like burnt out. But I think like I just talk to like what I normally do. I'll just talk to my sister and my mom, and like I'll just kind of like de-stress and try to get away from my work. But I think that was just for me. Those are some of like the downsides to it.
Yeah. For me, downsides. Funny enough, like now that I think of it, there are downsides, but nothing that I would like complain about, because I might have complained about it the first week, but now I'm like, fuck that shit, that's some pussy shit. Like, what would I don't see that as a downside anymore, because it was a change in my life. Like, in that aspect though, like Justin said, communication is a big downside. Like, you don't understand what communication is. It's not just social media that you're talking to your friends. It's like your family. Like, I don't think Justin has this problem, but I'm an immigrant, kind of. So I have families from Iran. I have many families from in the States, and that is also a hard part of it. Now, like my parents would have like had video calls once in a while, but like I know my grandma texted me like a bunch, because like, you know, it's my grandma, and like I couldn't I didn't see those. Communication, like so many things go under the category of communication that will challenge and test you in this detox. But in another aspect, I would say for me the downsides are I couldn't game and couldn't watch movies. I love watching movies. It's one of my favorite hobbies. And and TV shows. Oh my god, I had like 4 TV shows going at the same time that I forgot the plot, bro. I gotta go like watch like 4 like
Catch
recaps, bro. I gotta go watch like the full like recaps for the whole show.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
holy shit, like, and there's that, and there's also food. I'm a foodie, and food wasn't a big restriction in the first 3 weeks. It's gonna be a main one in the one week of that hell week.
Last
It's
week.
gonna be in the last week, but basically no fast food, it's just no junk food. It's like you could go and get something from outside that's like decent quality. It's just like no McDonald's, like I don't know, Burger King, A&W, like whatever that's like is like cheap food and is like it's not good for you, but it's like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
So,
like
stuff like that.
overstimulating and like sugary, greasy, salty,
Yeah.
whatever. Just not something that's super extreme. Like,
Yeah.
try to keep it tame. Like, I don't know. Even like if you're like working out, like a protein bar is fine, right? Like that's
Mhm.
not like because it's like helped hit your protein goal. But like generally for meals, like just like something plain. So like you have like
Yeah.
whatever chicken, maybe steak, rice, vegetables, something else. Like
Mhm.
something simple, but like that will
Yeah. And downsides, no. Yeah. I think I talked about. I already talked about this. Like the whole FIFA thing. That was a downgrade for me at first. Now I'm like, fuck that. I don't care.
Exactly.
And that was mainly it. It's just like it depends on your habits, and if you look at like if you're watching this, you're thinking about how your life would be affected by the dopamine detox. Just think about something that is a guilty pleasure that you get no other use of other than makes you happy. Like some people go eat for no reason. That is something that's going to be affected by dopamine detox. Some people that play video games for no reason, unless you're like a Twitch streamer that actually like gets paid and you have to pay your bills, like that would be a difference. But if you just play video games because you like to, makes you happy, that's going to be affected. Or if you watch a lot of TV shows or movies, or you drink alcohol, do drugs, thank God I'm not one of those people. I feel like they're going to have it the hardest. But that's basically where it lies. It's just you gotta look into your life. Now, from my life, those were the things. But quitting anything is hard.
Yeah.
And we're not quitting dopamine. That's not how it works.
Exactly.
It's just you gotta level it again. It's like you gotta balance it. Like
Reset it.
Thanos said, bro, balance, balance is important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now that we sort of talked about the risk, one of the main things that I was asked a lot by friends and family and anyone just sort of like viewing our progress was just like, how are you going to do this going forward? So once this challenge is done, what are you doing forward? And I had a couple people come do the challenge, tell me what they were going to do, and I want to hear what you're going to do.
So that's a good question, as in like how is my life gonna be affected forward?
Yeah, are you gonna like download Instagram and Snapchat again? Are you gonna do this? Like, are you gonna balance it more?
I had Snapchat because so many people's homeworks rely on me, so I just had it on like 5 minutes a day, so I could like text them back through notifications, so I don't have to like scroll anything, see anything. And then Snapchat, I would say unless I have to like there was a cute girl at the party who was like, "You want my Snapchat?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm downloading it back." But otherwise, nah. Like there was no point. It's just like I just like sent pictures to like people I knew, even like quick. I was like, "Who the fuck are you?" I just sent a picture because it was like it wasn't even giving me dopamine. It was just a pointless activity.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, fuck it. Like I don't need to download that shit back. Like gaming, I'm gonna have like a good pause on gaming. Movies, no, I'm going back to movies, but movies are great. Like they're dopamine and they're gonna be my guilty pleasure. And health, I'm gonna start eating more healthy food like I have been because of the challenge. No junk food, no McDonald's, all of that. And also working out and reading, considering that how much I've been doing it in the past 2 weeks. I'm just gonna embed both of them in my life as a routine. I should have started playing violin again, considering the free time. Just don't enjoy it much. But yeah, it affected my life a lot, and I start to see that in the second week, and it's basically embedded. Like I go home, I don't just sit on my phone. I'm not even gonna download TikTok back.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I'll just use the website if I have to like do something for the podcast or like check something.
Yeah, exactly.
For like I don't know whatever. Like I'm not even gonna download the app. No point. That's it. Like and then I didn't have much. Just like I don't know what was it, Reddit and Twitter. Like who uses Twitter, bro? We're 16. There's no point in Twitter really, unless you're like checking sport news or whatever, which is like how long do you spend on those? To be honest, like it's like 5-10 minutes max scrolling through. Like that's all. And it's like it did affect my life by a mile. It will like I'm gonna embed this challenge into my life because otherwise it'd be pointless. Like I just did this for like I didn't do this for just for the experience and for the shits and giggles. I actually did this because I was like, if I do it right, I'm gonna change something and I'm gonna gain good habits, and that's what I'm aiming for, and that's what the change I'm gonna put in my life.
Exactly.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, so I think after completing the challenge, the main things that I want to do, I don't know if I'll re-download Instagram, just being because the chats that I really like want back, the one that I like probably need but I won't use that much is Snapchat, like just to like check in with friends and stuff. That one's like the main one that we use, so probably only that one. And now for Instagram, if I really need to check it, what I want to do is I'll have it on my computer. During the challenge, I need to check, like, for school, we had, like, we go in uniforms, right? And then you have, like, a day where you can, like, oh, you don't have to wear a uniform today, blah, blah, blah. It's, like, Spirit Day. You dress up as a theme. I need to check what it was. Went on my computer, went on Instagram, typed in, like, the account, found it. Okay, uniforms this day. Like, no uniform days this day. Log out, whatever. Like, that was it. Like, literally just for that specific thing. So I think from now on, Snapchat will probably be out of the picture. Already, I've deleted TikTok since like last summer, so I don't use that. And I won't, obviously. I won't go back to that either. So, yeah, just Snapchat. And then I think for that, even too, I don't know if I'll put a time limit on it, but I think I'll just be more like conservative with my time and be like more thoughtful about it. Because again, like, I think now after completing the challenge, you do really get like a sense of like what's important to you and what's not. Like, even like sending snaps all the time to like random people, like, is that really gonna positively affect my life? Like, after quitting it, you realize that, hey, it's not that important, right? Like,
exactly. It had no effect on me.
exactly.
Like Snapchat, I was like, I deleted it because I knew it wasn't allowed. I was like, and then now, it's not even a part I complain about. It's like, I was questioning the point of it even when I had it.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, fuck it. It's like, I already did the hard part deleting it. I'm just not gonna download it back. There's no point.
Yeah, exactly.
And and the other thing that it was a positive of this, you have more will to do the right thing. It's like, for example, when you're doing something that is hard to get off of, like scrolling through TikTok or Reels or whatever, it's like you like one more, like two more. It's like, and then by the time that video ends, you just forget about the fact that this was your last video.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
keep on scrolling. That is, hopefully that's not gonna be the case, because now, like, I don't scroll through anything, but when I'm doing something that like I knew I would have spent time keep doing, it's like I have that control in my mind that I just get off so much faster.
All right, so now I'm going to finish it off with the closing question. Do you recommend this to our viewers watching this?
100%. 100%. You're trying to be better, you're trying to gain more focus. If you actually see, like, so many people have the self-reflection in their life every day.
Yeah.
Right? But many choose to, like, forget about it. You know, they're like, this doesn't, like, bring me joy. It makes me feel bad about it. So I'm just not gonna, like, keep remembering it. Don't. Like, keep focusing on it, you know? Keep trying to strive to be better. It's important to have focus. And if you see that you're lacking focus in your life, do it. And I know so many people our age, so many people generally just lack focus heavily because of the unbalanced dopamine in them.
Exactly.
So do it. Give it, like, doesn't have to be 3 weeks. Doesn't have to be that one hell week. Go for 1 week without doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing. Doing something that you know is stopping you from doing your work and puts you, like, screws up your focus. Just don't do it for 1 week. Don't even do the weekend, because I know the weekend's going to be so hard you'll break if you don't have to do it anymore. You're like, well, I'm not going to do it Monday, so I'm just not going to do it Sunday. Just do it for the weekdays. Just do it for the weekdays. Try it. You'll see the difference it will make. You will feel so terrible on the first week because it's the hardest. But reshift the focus and see how much work you will do. And then after that, you will feel so terrible about yourself going back to the habits that would screw you up. You know, it's like the next week you're like, fuck, I should be doing work on my phone. You're like, look at me, like the week before, like I wasn't doing this, I wasn't allowed to do this, and I did all the work and I got the good grades for it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so you're more inclined because you see that effect. So 100% try it at the lowest level and you'll see the difference, and then times that by 10.
Yeah, For my opinion is, if you're gonna do it right. All right, like, know what you're getting out of it. I think
Yeah.
for going into it, like, trying to get a bunch of people to do it with me was good, because I personally saw like what was good about it, but a lot of others didn't, and that's why they didn't follow through with it. So if you're doing it, I recommend write down rules. Right, we had a list of rules, and that helped us guide us to the challenge. You can do this, you
Yeah.
can't do this, or whatever. Right, and if you have to get around a rule, get around it in the, like, I don't know, in the chillest way possible, right?
Yeah.
If you have to go on Instagram, put a time limit on, right? Or get someone to send you a text about what's going on here,
Yeah.
right? There's ways to get around it without actually having to, like,
Break it.
but yeah, without actually having to break it. And so, yeah, if you're gonna do it, make sure you do it right. And, like, again, like Cheyenne said, you don't even have to do it for a super big like amount of time, right? You could do it for a couple of days, you could do it for a week. But even just building those smaller habits, that's really gonna, like, make the difference, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And don't take offense from this, but don't just go past this. Be like, well, I'm not gonna get something out of this. Like, it's not a physical prize. Okay, you're not 6 years old anymore. You're not gonna get a candy out of this. Like, you're like, yo, I'm just gonna not do this because my mom's gonna buy me a toy car, buy me a doll.
Yeah.
Like, no.
That's
Like,
not the
this is
point.
this is the time. Unless you're 10-year-old and watching this, if you're probably our age, you're watching this, you need it, because in a year or two, or you might even already be 18, you are gonna be in the world where you're responsible for yourself, and you need these little blocks of good habits to build your life, and you will see the difference. Okay, don't go through your life saying fuck all. Not every reward is gonna pay off now or be a physical one. Do it. Just do it.
Exactly. Well, on that note, I guess we'll wrap it up here. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.